Okay. This is dinner. Early dinner, it's a little after 3 o'clock. It's kind of lunch/dinner combo. First, day number 1, rock tripe and rice. It's kind of got like a little pilaf thing going on here. Not bad. The rice could be cooked a little more, but that rock tripe blends really well. It's been almost a full day of hiking and sweating. My clothes are dirty. I can let these dry while I wear my long-sleeved outfit to sleep. Fresh and clean. Well, I am now a changed man. I washed my other pair of shorts and my other shirt and my bandana in the creek. And I'm not looking forward to packing all this wet clothing, which is a lot heavier, back up the mountain. Alright, well, as you can see, I changed in my long sleeve, long pants outfit. All the wet clothing is in my backpack, and I've got about a 20-minute or so walk back to my camp, and only about 2 hours left before dark. And did I mention I didn't build my shelter yet? Better get trucking. Well, weather looks clear. Off to the, I think that general direction is west. That way more. And I still, believe it or not, don't have my shelter up yet. So I think for tonight, I'll just hope that it doesn't rain, and I'll just sleep by the fire for tonight. And in the morning, I'm gonna try to get some food. Alright, I want to talk a bit about the priorities of survival. Well, it depends greatly, actually, on where you find yourself, as far as, you know, what priority you adhere to first, that you pay attention to first. But the human body physical needs priorities are, number 1 is oxygen. It's just kind of a no-brainer. Apart from that, though, that's generally not a concern. At least I hope not. Apart from that, your number 1 need is shelter. Unless you find yourself on a nice, warm, tropical beach, where it doesn't matter if you get cold or get wet, because it doesn't get very cold there, or, you know, whatever, your shelter is going to be a very big priority. Shelter is your number 1 need in most places on Earth. And your body's number 1 need. Then next after that is water. You've got to find water. You can last about, I failed to say, you can last about 3 hours or so with hypothermia if you're cold and you're being rained on or snowed on or whatever. Without shelter in a bad environment, you can last about 3 hours. Without water, you can last about 3 days. So you want to find water fairly soon. And you certainly won't be able to do a lot of work without water. Your next priority is food. And that is the last priority. You can last about 3 weeks without food, generally speaking, but if you're trying to survive without food energy, you're going to be very, very limited in how much energy you'll have to do work. So, in a survival situation, it depends how much work there needs to be done. Without food, you're probably not going to be able to nearly so well take care of your need for shelter and water and stuff like that. And by the way, fire goes along with shelter. That just, depending on where you find yourself, I consider fire to be an aspect of shelter because it keeps you warm. So, shelter, water, food. Remember that. And fire goes with shelter. In some cold winter place, fire is going to top over an actual physical shelter. In the summertime, in the temperate zone, in like a forest where it might rain or something like that, you're going to want shelter. Or even in the early winter, if it's not that cold, you're probably going to want shelter over fire if you have warm clothing. So, tonight, I'm just going to sleep out next to the fire and hope it doesn't rain. If it does, I'll get wet, but I won't die. Alright, well, this is night number 1, and I didn't get a shelter built yet, so I'm just going to spend the night beside the fire. And, you know, it cooled off enough up here on the mountain. There's a slight breeze that I'm actually glad for the fire. I think I would be a bit chilled if I didn't have it. The sky does not look like it's going to rain, so that won't be an issue. So, night number 1. Beside the fire. Alright, well, this is how I spent my night, just laying down on the ground like this inside of this little thin, it's like a sleeping bag lining, not very insulative at all. And in fact, it got pretty brutally cold just sleeping on the ground like this morning. I was at that point where you're almost shivering, but not quite, just kind of the last half of the night, but that was a nice change, I guess, from the hot during the day. So, and then when the bugs would come and attack, I slept with my bandana on just to protect against bugs and mosquitoes mainly, and ticks and stuff like that. And what I would do in the middle of the night, sometimes when it would get really bad, bugs, I mean, would do this. And I would just fold it up so that there are no openings. I'm completely sealed inside my little bag here. The only problem is you soon run out of oxygen. And also I can't stretch my feet out the whole way when I do that. So, and it's just very uncomfortable. But anyways, so this is morning of day 2, and I'll probably build up my fire a bit, get warmed up, because it's still actually pretty nippy. And today I'm gonna, well, first of all I'm gonna build a shelter, and then I'm going to try to get some food. Set a bunch of traps and see what I can catch.